Good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday night. Welcome. How is everybody this evening? I have my window open because it's so nice outside, so hopefully there's not background noise. The birds aren't chirping anymore, but it was lovely earlier. As everyone is coming on, please share as we are starting Heartbreak Chronicles tonight. Sorry, I got out the screen. My bad. Hope everybody's doing good. Had a great day. Good day of work. If you had to go out to work or working from home. Actually, if you guys saw earlier, I was working from home and I went out and took a walk at lunch. Very proud of myself. I had been promising myself that I would do more when I finally got a chance to work from home. And lo and behold, that chance has arrived. And for weeks, I hadn't gone out during my lunch hour. And today I decided to do that. So I was proud of myself. So I was encouraging all of you. Am I having connection problems today? But I was encouraging all of you, if there were promises that you have made to yourself, to not break your promises. If there was things that you've been asking for and if they are being granted onto you, don't forget to keep those promises to yourself. But we'll wait a few minutes for a few folks to come on. What time is it? Okay. A little after 9. But so folks who do not know me, or if you are joining for the first time, I am Andrea L. Cooks. I am a certified abundant life coach, and I have started this weekly series a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks or so ago. And my purpose for starting this video series was really to start to open up the dialogue and conversation around heartbreak, and more around the real talk or struggles that go on with heartbreak, and the things that really keep us from moving on and overcoming some of our challenges. And my goal, again, with this was for me to share some of my personal stories, because I've gone through a variety of things in my life, as I'm sure some of you. And I wanted to share the things that I've gone through, how I was able to move past them, share some of those learnings with you, and hopefully, again, start that dialogue so that we can have some honest conversation about, what really goes down. And the whole idea is, if it does go down, how we are moving past it and getting the life that we all want, or the life that you want and the life that you deserve. So tonight, the topic tonight was stop punishing yourself. And this came up because, of course, since we've been in the quarantine and staying at home, I was reminded of some bad behavior that I do, and that is punishing myself sometimes. And so with that being said, so my daughter, who is, of course, in a blended family since her father and I are no longer together, she is used to frequently going back and forth between our homes. Hello. I don't know why I can't see who's coming on tonight, but so anyway, she frequently, goes back and forth. We were very diligent to keep a good kind of parenting schedule with her, because, again, knowing how important it is to be with both parents. But since we had been in quarantine, she had been with me for weeks without going to her father's house. And it was really starting to wear on her dad, and just that whole situation. Because, again, it was out of the norm. But we had been dealing. She had been FaceTiming and doing all these great things. And just a little background. So my daughter's 7, for those who don't know. And when her father and I split up, she was 3. So at this point, most of her life, she's known this situation to be as a blended family or 2-family home. So she had been doing pretty good with it. So, but this long time with being with just me, which loves me very much. I'm a great mom. She really did miss her dad. And so, she was starting to cry more about, wanting to go over. And again, we were doing the best we could, again, trying to stay within the order. Thank you. Stay within the order of our new stay at home, but as well as, making sure we had contact. So in addition, I have to go and work at a hospital during the week sometimes. So again, we were trying to ensure that, we weren't contaminating the different homes. But anyway, long story short. So last week, again, after we've been having all this turmoil, she finally, kind of breaks it down. It's like, why aren't you together? Why are you apart? And again, things we talked about years ago. But at this point, as a 7-year-old child, she's thinking, my parents aren't together. Now that we're quarantining, she always says the coronavirus. This is causing her some angst. And she was really like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why aren't you together? We need to be in our old house and put things back the way they were. And so during that time, I started feeling a certain kind of way because, as a mom, I was kind of going back to when this all went down and the guilt and the shame that I was having, that I was breaking up, or I won't say, but we were breaking up this family, and what that was going to do to, our daughter. And so I felt that guilt coming up because she's pissed. Let's be honest. She's a 7-year-old child that's pissed that she can't have both her parents at the same time. It's supposed to be quarantined. And then I started punishing myself. I'm starting to feel bad. Oh, this is all my fault. Now she's not happy. And I was getting ready to kind of start that stinking thinking, that's what I call it, where when something's not going right, we automatically begin to, blame ourselves and punish ourselves. And in our reality, that keeps us from experiencing a lot in life. It keeps us from some of the joy and happiness because we keep blaming ourselves, punishing ourselves for things that we've done that at this point we cannot change. And it doesn't get us anywhere. It doesn't solve any problems. And so again, hello. So I just saw myself going back into that spot. So I wanted to bring that up with you guys because I believe too, in Heartbreak, and when you're going through a series of heartbreak, there's a lot of self-punishment that we do. I did it during the time, and like I said, it can still come and creep up on you years later. And so one of the other stories I was thinking about, because again, very advocate of a person who was doing self-punishment probably frequently and not even knowing it, was I remember when hey, Jocelyn, now I'm seeing stuff pop in. Maybe my internet connection's working. Jeez. So when I first got divorced, I remember the ink probably wasn't even dried on the divorce papers. And so, of course, I wasn't doing that great. I was in the heat of heartbreak is what I like to call it. And at that time, I remember I was on the treadmill. And I remember my daughter called, and she was telling she was so excited. Again, at this point, I think she had turned 4. And she was so excited because at Dad, she was getting this new bed and all this stuff. And I was like listening to what she was saying. And I'm like, this does not sound like Dad's place. And I was realizing at the time that she was talking about that Dad and his girlfriend at the time are moving together, and she was getting her own space there. She was so excited. Now, mind you, I'm a newly divorced person, so I'm starting to get a little upset and pissed off about it. And I was thinking at the time, too, again, self-punishment. I'm a divorced mother now. I need to, make sure that where my daughter is at, things are safe. Again, blaming myself for all this that's going on and what now I need to do to fix it, and putting myself in positions where I didn't need to be, because what is it going to do? Punish me more, add more pain. Not healthy. So anyway, she's telling me all about this. So I'm like, oh God, I need to go find out where my daughter's going to be. And now I got to put myself in this horrible situation. I'm going to start off saying, I didn't have to do it, but here, self-punishment. So I call her dad and I'm like, well, it sounds like you are moving on and there's going to be a place where our daughter's going to be. And as her mother, I need to know where this place is. I need to make sure it's okay. Mind you, again, this is a good man. I know he doesn't have her at some Timbuktu. Why am I putting myself in this situation? Self-punishment. So anyway, we decide that, we're going to have this meeting, or I'm going to have to go over to their home now. Now, mind you, I've never met the new girlfriend before, and now they're living together. Now they have a bed for my child. Why am I putting myself in this situation? I don't know. I don't know. But I do. And I'm putting it all on. I need to make sure my child is safe, and I'm feeling guilty that I'm not with their father and all these different things. So anyway, the day that we make this appointment for me to go over and bless the room and bless the situation again. This all sounds crazy now that I say it. And I remember driving up into the driveway again, newly divorced, nowhere near healed. I'm feeling all kinds of emotions at this point. Like, oh my God. It almost feels like, you're driving into a home where now this is a new family. You're not a part of it. So my heart's beating. And you know me, I'm trying to be very happy and smiling about this whole situation. So I get up to the door, knock on the door, and at this time my ex-husband opens the door again to his new home with this new woman at this point that I'm just now meeting, who knows my daughter and all these other things. And hi, Shernay, thanks for joining. But so I walk in, and it just feels awful. I feel like crap. It's the most painful thing at this point that I'm going through. I'm going to look at this new home that my daughter's going to be at, that I had dreams and visions of the life that I was going to have. And my ex-husband walks me in, then he goes and sits in the kitchen, and he's, eating a meal that was prepared for him. And he asks, would you like something to eat? Hell no. My whole goal was, I just want to come in. I want to see where my child's going to be sleeping, and I want to go. But again, I'm trying to be very nice and cordial about it. And again, remind you, this is the first time I'm meeting his new significant other. So I get through the event, and that's what I call it in my mind now, the event. I see the room, everything's fine, which in all reality, I knew it was going to be. So why the heck did I put myself in this position? And then I get to getting myself out of there. So it's, and one of the things I vividly remember about that event is when I met his significant other. And she had mentioned to me how, because I was upset. Let's back up. I was upset that everybody knew everything except me, and I felt like I was in the dark. And then she had told me, she's like, he talks about, your daughter all the time. I couldn't wait to meet her. And my impression was, I wish somebody would have told me, but again, neither here nor there at this point. So anyway, I saw the place. I hot-tailed myself out of there because, again, it was the most emotional, overwhelming thing that I needed to do right after my divorce. And so I get in my car, guys. I go and try to back up out of the driveway. I almost hit the trash cans. Okay. Sometimes I have some driving issues, but this was going to be bad. I get out, I'm crying, I'm all emotional, trying to figure out why in the world did I just do that to myself? And it goes back to when you are in the middle of heartbreak, one of the things we constantly do is continue to make ourselves hurt. And I don't, at the time, I don't know why I did it. And now that I've gone through some of my healing, realizing that one of the things we do as humans, and a lot of humans do, there's research behind it, is that when we feel guilty about something, some of the first things we do is we begin to self-punish. And it's almost like a reaction to try to make yourself feel better. That if you feel you've done something bad, that you have to punish yourself. And we do this subconsciously. And then we don't realize how much that self-punishment begins to tear away at who we are, what we think about ourselves, because it really is negative thinking. You start to think, you start to do, why did I do this? How was I so stupid? All these things start going through your mind. Am I not the only one who's gone through this? Maybe I'm the crazy one. I probably am. But you really start to continually almost break your own self down. And then that goes into how you view yourself, what your self-image is. So really getting control, hey Marcus, some of that stinking thinking, as we like to call it, because it's, thank you, Shanae. I'm glad I'm not alone, because I was wondering. But you really start to tear your own self down. And so we have to get a handle of how we are dealing with some of the guilt that we have. Because guilt, if you deal with it in the right way, it's supposed to be just that initial trigger when you've done something, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it. But you're not supposed to constantly, hey, Don, constantly beat yourself up for things that you have done. And you're not supposed to put yourself in other situations because you think you've done something wrong and that you deserve this additional punishment. And so I think about that often now for the things that I go through before I try to self-punish myself. And again, you don't really think about it initially. Is what is it going to solve? Me going over to my ex-husband and his new significant other's house right after divorce, seeing all that put together, what did that solve? Nothing. What did that do? Cause more pain. And so really starting to think about some of the decisions that we make during heartbreak and being more intentional about it. And so I brought that up again, kind of going back from the beginning, when I was talking to my daughter after she said, why? Why are you apart? And it was a good question and a fair question, I think, for my lovely 7-year-old who asked me things that only she does. And I was getting ready to beat myself up about it again. And I'm thinking to myself, Andrea, you've already done that. And really talking to her more about the situation and realizing now that she's 7, she is starting to understand that her family is different than some of the others. She is starting to see that things that she wants that can't happen is a reality. And I want to be the type of mother that she's able to talk to about it and that we're able to deal with. And instead of doing more self-punishment and self-sabotaging, the goal is to talk about it and actually solve the problem. So that was one of my learnings this week, and I wanted to share that with you guys tonight and to see if these are things that you guys are struggling with. Again, thanks, Renee, for telling me that I am not the only one. But to really get, when we're going through these different struggles in life, how we need to really stop and think about what we're doing to solve the problem and what we're doing to not continue to beat up ourselves about it. So any thoughts? How things been going with the group out there? Uh-oh. Has anybody experienced some of the things that I mentioned tonight? And I know one of the other things as I was thinking about this, really just how deep this happens within relationships, Again, not just with your significant other, but also when I think about, work relationships, things I do with myself. One of the things I was talking to someone about is one of the things that I've been doing a lot is in the past. I am always the one that says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And realizing that I don't need to say I'm sorry all the time. The things that we do, we constantly, reflect it back on us because we think we've done something wrong. Sometimes you haven't. And we have to, again, be more intentional in thinking about, what we're doing, what we're, portraying out. But not all the time we're sorry. I mean, we really do have to just stop blaming ourselves, start punishing ourselves for other people's actions. And again, if we do something wrong, you figure it out and you move past it. But there's no sense of continuing to beat yourself up. We will not get to the life we want doing that. So that was my words of wisdom this evening that I had got this week and wanted to share with you guys. I hope you got something out of it. Hi, Tim. Miss you. I hope you got something out of it. I didn't want to keep you too long tonight. I know, and I'm having all kind of internet connections, so hopefully you guys are seeing it. But I really just wanted to get that out tonight because I know I'm not the only one struggling with it. But that whole idea of we all make mistakes, we all do, things that we wish we hadn't done. But the whole idea is we have to move on from it. We don't have to keep punishing ourselves for it. We don't have to put ourselves in situations that make it worse. Point exactly. I will never do that again. But to realize that you are important, you are human, you will make mistakes, but it's not the end of the world, and you can move on and overcome from it. Oh, Don put, I sure have, and I did the same. Allowed my kids to talk openly with me. Had to let go, and once I did, let's see if I can. I felt like myself again. Absolutely. I mean, and if anybody who knows my daughter, she speaks her mind. Hi, Jeannie. And so the whole idea that, she was upset that she couldn't see both her parents and other people can. I mean, that's honest and real. And one of the things I explained to her during that time as well is, first of all, one of the things she was missing was her siblings. And without the situation where her dad and I weren't together, she wouldn't have those siblings. And so helping her understand that things happen in life, they may not be the way that we envisioned. But again, we can't beat ourselves up for it. We can't, continue to feed into that negativity. I mean, it's life, and it's something that I want to teach her as she's growing up, and know that she has both her mom and her dad. And I mean, that is part of divorce. That is part of heartbreak. But we will not be together. But again, that doesn't stop the love that we have for her. But it is, blended families is a difficult place to be. I'm a stepmom. I've been a stepmom, and I understand the challenges that new stepmoms have. So, anything else tonight, gang? And I will say I have my red lipstick on tonight because Anaya is not here, and she is finally with her dad, because she does not like me wearing red lipstick when she's around because it takes the shine away from her. So, so I thought I'd wear it tonight when she was with her dad. She's a hot mess, you guys, a hot mess. Well, it was good talking and seeing you all tonight. Of course, I will be back next week and popping on throughout the week, hopefully to share a little fun and love while we're all at home. But I miss you all. I can't wait to see some of you who I normally see on a regular, and hate that we don't get to see each other as often. But this quarantine will be over sooner rather than later, and I want us all to stay safe, stay healthy, mask up when you're going out. And if you need anything, as I say, you can always call, and I will I will see you guys next week. Have a good night. Bye.